It's a way of life for all. It is taught in the Quran for big and small. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way.
Welcome to this episode of
Tell us about Islam.
Tell Us About Islam. I'm Yusuf Estes, and with me today we have Ismail, and we have Bilal, we have Shamroon, and we have Abdullah. And all of them go to the same school. What's the name of your school?
Islamic International School.
The Islamic International School here in Mumbai. But we have many schools all around the planet where we're teaching the children the proper way to know, understand, and explain Islam to other people. And it's all part of Tell Us About Islam. And what we'd like to do is ask the youth to bring us their questions and then help them to understand what the answer is. And so we'll just start on my right, and that will be with Ismail. Do you have a question for us today?
Yes.
Tell us.
How do we know Islam is right?
That's a very good question. If we think about it, there are choices that people have when they decide what they want to believe in, what their faith is. So that's a very important question. Let's think about it. And while we're thinking about it, I'm going to ask Bilal, what is your question?
What does Islam mean?
What is the meaning of Islam? You're right about this, to ask that question, because Islam is an Arabic word, isn't it? And an Arabic word in English, oh, we better find out what it means. So I'm going to ask you, what will your question be?
What does Muslim mean?
Well, that's a good question too, because we just got a question from Bilal. He wanted to know what Islam means. You want to know what Muslim means. That's good. Now let's find out what Abdullah's question will be. What's your question?
What is God's name?
What's God's name? All of these are excellent questions, and that's what we're going to be talking about right now. So let's start with the very basis of what we should believe, why we think Islam is right, by doing what? Going to the source of the meaning of the word. But what is a Muslim? Well, before we can know what Muslim is, we have to realize that's also an Arabic word. So we got to go back to the Arabic. When we say Muslim, it goes back to a root. Aslama. When we say Islam, it also goes to the same root, Aslama. Both words, your word is Islam and your word is Muslim. And when you find that both of them go to Aslama, now all we need to do is find out, what does Aslama mean? This comes from 3 letters in Arabic. 3 letters. How many?
3.
3 letters. Now, the first letter is Sin, then Lam, then Mim, right? Yes. Sin, Lam, Mim. And if you try to pronounce it, it's either Sam or Sum, but nobody pronounces it anyway, it doesn't matter. Aslama, what is Aslama? There's no word in English for Aslama. That's why we don't translate those 2 words. That's why we don't say what Islam means, we don't say what Muslim means, because we don't have it in English. But we can figure it out if we take several English words and put them together all at the same time, then we can find out what Islam means. And guess how many words it takes from English? 1? No, more. 2? More. 3? 4? It takes 5. Just like there are 5 of us, there are 5 words that make one word Islam. The first word is surrender. Now that's where you give up and you say, I give up, I surrender. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, Muslims are getting pretty good about that. Surrender. But anyway, this is the first word. The second word is submit or submission. Submission means somebody wants you to do something, you go, okay, I'll do it. That's submission. Surrender, submission. Next word is obey. Obey, it means somebody tells you to do something, you do it. You will do it. That's obey. And then there's another word in English, sincere. sincere. And that is also in aslama, or Islam in Muslim, is sincerity. Because if somebody's not really sincere, then it doesn't equal Islam anymore. You cannot force people to be sincere, can you? No, I can tell you, you have to like me. You could say, no, I don't. Say, you have to like me. Say, okay, I'll pretend I like you, but you won't know, right? If I say, you have to love me, you say, Say, I'll get my gun, and then you say, okay, I will, but not really. You're just doing it because somebody ordered you to, right? So that's not sincere. So this is very important to know this word. Some of the questions that we'll be dealing with later. Now we come to the fifth word, and this is the most important word of all. Because without this word, then the other words would fall apart and not have the same meaning of what's real Islam. And it comes from the same root. This last fifth word comes from the same root, silm, sin, lam, mim. And it's a word we use all the time, like when we greet people, we talk to people, we go up to them. What do we say when we're going to greet them?
Assalamu alaikum.
And now, alaykum means all of you, but salam, what does salam mean?
Peace.
Peace? Peace. Huh. So how does that fit into the word Islam? Because some people think Islam means peace, but Islam does not mean peace. If it meant peace, then we would say to each other, Islam alaikum. And we don't say that. We say salam alaikum. Because salam means peace. Islam means something bigger. It has salam in it, but it has other things too. Like whenever you have food, and maybe you'll put some salt in the food, right? But you wouldn't eat salt, would you? No, but you'll eat salt in something because it's important. And the same way this word is important too. The word peace in Islam makes the other four words work perfectly. Shall I tell you how? Okay, first of all, think about this. We said surrender. We said submission. We said obey. We said sincerity. Sincerity means you will really do it. You will really do it because you know it's the right thing to do. You'll do it. But what has peace got to do with that? You will do it in peace, not being rebellious, but doing it because this you know is the best thing to do. So whenever anything comes to you, good or bad, you'll stay at peace with it. You won't get upset. You won't go crazy. You won't lose your temper. You won't get angry. You'll be in peace. If you get something you like, you'll be happy, right? But this means you will be in peace with it. You wouldn't be like, I want $1 million, okay, like that. Because that's not peace. Also, if you got something bad came to you, you know, somebody said, oh, your house burnt down. Wow, that's a horrible thing, right? But again, you won't go crazy. You won't be spastic and going, oh, my house burnt down. You know, you would be at peace with it. Now, both of these things are extreme. You're not going to win $1 million, and your house isn't going to burn down, inshallah. But I'm just trying to give you an idea of what this kind of peace is. It means no matter how good or how bad something is, you're going to be what? Peaceful about it. And in modern day English, we say you're going to be cool. Keep your cool. Don't lose your cool. All of this, these words are held together with this word peace. To be at peace with whatever comes to you. To be relaxed and think, okay, this is what is God's will. Of course, that brings us to another question, doesn't it? We start thinking about some more questions, like, God, how does that figure into this? And Muslim, how does that figure into it? Well, Muslim, now, the next word, comes from the same root and comes from Islam. Whoever does a verb, an action, you know what verbs are, actions? In English, we put after the action, and that's the one who does the action. Walk, he's a walker. Talk, he's a talker. Think, he's a thinker. Stink, stinker. But seriously, when we think about this, The way that it works in English, we put the after the action. Arabic is the opposite. We said it's an Arabic word. Muslim is an Arabic word. So we have to know about Arabic to understand what it means. Because in Arabic, you don't put after something and you don't put it before something. You don't even use it. You use mu. Can you say mu?
Mu.
Very good. Then you put mu in front of the verb or the action to see who's doing it. The one who does it, you put mu in front of it, whatever it is. Shall I give you an example?
Yes.
All right. Let's take the verb or action of travel. If somebody is traveling along, going along, they're a traveler. In Arabic, the word is suffer. Travel is suffer. And if he does travel, he's a musafir. Musafir. You see, you put it in front. Musafir, the one who travels. And if somebody does the adhan, you know the adhan, right? Adhan. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. That's the adhan. Now, we wouldn't call the guy who does that adhaner, would we? No. Although he's doing the adhan, he's not an adhaner, he's a what? Mu'adhin. Mu'adhin, exactly. The mu'adhin does the adhan. Got it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so it's not so complicated, is it? Now, sulli, what is sulli? Sulli is when you do salah. We'll be talking about that in programs coming up too, but for right now, sulli or salah, the one who does it's not a sullier, he's a musalli. And somebody who has iman, he has iman, he's not an imaner, he's a mu'min. Mu'min. Very good. You got it. You figured it out.
Yes.
I'm proud of you. All right. So if somebody does Islam, he's not an Islamer, he's a Muslim. Islam. Muslim. If he does it, he's a Muslim. So a lot of people call themselves Muslims, but if they don't do Islam, are they a Muslim?
No. No.
If somebody doesn't walk, we don't really call him a walker, do we? No. If somebody doesn't run, we don't call him a runner. And somebody says that he is a kind person, but he's not really kind. Well, if he said, I'm rich, but he's really poor, that means him saying it isn't enough, is it? He has to do Islam. If he does Islam, then he's a Muslim. So just because your name is Abdullah, Abdurrahman, Bilal, Muhammad, whatever, doesn't mean you're a Muslim. It's not until you do what? Let's go back and look at it and think again. Surrender, submit, obey, and be sincere, and be all of these things in peace. If you can do that, then what are you? Muslim, exactly. Well, let's take a break right now and come back with some more answers to these good questions. We're back from our break. You're watching Tell Us About Islam, and we were right in the middle of a very important discussion about what Islam actually is, who is a Muslim, and we were coming up on another question about God. What we found out in the first part is that Islam is actually Arabic, and it contains 5 of the English words to make it work. They were, I think you remember, surrender, submission, obedience, sincerity, and peace. The last one was peace, right? Okay, so all of that together equaled Islam, and it means an action of a lot of stuff. The person really surrendering and submitting, and they are doing the obedience in sincerity. You can't fake sincerity, it has to be real. And then to do it in peace. And if a person has got all that together, then they became a what? Muslim, exactly. So now we understand what Islam means. We know what a Muslim is. So it's important now to find out who is the other entity involved. Who is the other one? We won't say other person, but the other one. Because if you submit, the question is, submit to who? If you surrender, like if there's a war going on, and one troop is here and another troop here, they're fighting in a battle, and one of them surrenders, they surrender to them, right? Well, I want to know, who are we surrendering to? And I think you already know the answer, huh? Allah. Is it right? Yeah, Allah. The one and only God for us is Allah. And is God Allah? The answer is yes and no. Yes, and no. Why no? Well, because the word in Arabic for God is ilah. That's the word for God, ilah. And everybody has an ilah. The people who are Hindus, they have many ilahs. The people who are Christians, they have their ilah. The people who are Jewish, they have their ilah, and the Muslims have their ilah. Everybody has an ilah. Even the one who says, I don't have an ilah, he still has an ilah. Because everybody worships something. Some people worship money. Some people worship their position. Some people, they just worship the whole creation itself. But no matter what they are in love with, no matter what they believe in, that becomes their ilah. That is the word God, in English a little G-O-D. But when we mean the God, the one and only God, we have a word for him in Arabic. It's his name in Arabic, and it's Allah, not ilah, Allah. That's his name. So that's why I said yes and no, because Allah is the God. But Allah doesn't mean God, it means the name of the God. Make sense? When we think about God, Allah, and we think about what he's created, and we think about what he's not, we know now that we would never really be able to define God. We don't really know what he is made out of, or how he looks, or what he would be like in size. Those things we don't know. But what we do know is that he is the creator, and he's the one that made it all come about. So if there's gravity, who made the gravity? Allah. Wind, who made the wind? Allah. There's heat, where did it come from? Allah. It came from the sun, but who made the sun hot?
Allah.
Ah, so we understand that behind everything is Allah's will. He has a will. When he wants something to happen, does he go out and build things and get some tools and put it all together?
No.
No, like we do, we have to go get some tools. But where will the tools come from? And then he wants to take some stuff and change it around and make something. Where would it come from? If I want to make a car, I've got to get metal, I've got to get some parts, I have to get screwdrivers and all kinds of tools, and I don't even know how to make a car. So I wouldn't even be able to do it. But when Allah wants anything to happen, anything, what does he do? He just says, be, and it is. Why? Because he's the real God. He says, be, and then the whole universe comes in from his command, be. Wow. In Arabic, it's called kun. He says, kun, and it is. Fayakun. Kun means be, and fire means so it is. Kun. Kun, fayakun. Be, and so it is. See how it works? He just says it. We can't do that. Can you do that? No. If you can, make me a brand new Mercedes. Just say, be. Ha! I don't see anything. So we see that Allah, he has this power to just say be, and it happens. So now I'll ask you, who makes the rules?
Allah. Allah.
Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, of course, because if he created the universe, then he made all the rules. And now who makes the rules for Islam?
Allah.
If it's his religion, then that has to be the way it is. So the way we understand Islam is that, in fact, it's not just a religion, it's a whole way of life. An entire way of life from the time you're born till the time you die. From the time you wake up in the morning till the time you go to sleep at night, because Islam is really about how you are with your God. And if you are surrendering to him, submitting to him, obeying him, and being sincere with him, and being at peace with him, then you are doing Islam and you are a Muslim, exactly. And that's how we understand it as Muslims. So we don't think of it like a regular religion. All the different religions came from people who didn't have all the pieces, or they had the pieces mixed up, or there's something wrong with the pieces, they're twisted and they don't fit. Because if it's from him, it should be perfect, and there's nothing wrong with it. But if it's from people, it will always have mistakes with it. Now do you understand?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, this is a good way for us, I think, to get started, and a good way for us to be able to come back. Now, anytime we have any more questions in the future, we want to come back and remember, what is Islam based on? Who are the people that do Islam? And who is the one that makes the rules for Islam? And who are the people involved in Islam, Muslims? And then who are we dealing with? And that's Almighty Allah. If we remember that He's Allah and we're not, He makes the rules and we don't. He tells us what to do and we do it. And that makes us Muslims, and that's how we understand it. Now, of course, there are a lot of other questions that come up right away, like how does He get communication with us? How do we know what He wants? How do we know some people didn't just make that up? And on those questions, you'll be able to go home and think about it, and either come back on the program or you'll send me emails, and we'll be talking about it in future programs. Make sense?
Yes.
Well, I want to thank all of you for being on this special edition of our program. I want to thank Ismail and Bilal, Shamoun and Abdullah. I love the way that we had such a great time together today. I'm really looking forward to a lot more programs like this in the future. On what? On Tell Us About Islam. I really love the way this worked out today, that everybody had a chance to ask their questions and even be able to figure out the answers for yourselves, because we had the right base to begin with. And as we go through more programs, we want to be able to do the same thing and help other people to learn more about what is Islam. And for you at home, if you'd like to be in communication with us, all you have to do is visit our website or write to us at justaskislam.com. Justaskislam.com. And until then, we bid you peace. Salam. Salam alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Do you know what Islam is? It's a way of life for all. It is taught in the Quran for big and small. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a